And in his first few months, President Trump has put a heavy focus on immigration. Just yesterday, he signed 2 executive orders targeting sanctuary cities and immigration enforcement. Chief White House correspondent Nancy Cordes joins us now with more analysis of, I guess, what we could call Trump 2.0. Nancy, good morning to you. You've seen this many times before with previous presidents. 100 days in, how is the general public reacting to the president's immigration policies specifically? He certainly has been doing things he committed to doing on the campaign trail.
Right. And a majority of Americans, Errol, say he is doing the things that he vowed to do. He still has majority support for his efforts to deport people who entered the country illegally. He's already deported some 140,000 individuals just in his first 100 days. But his overall approval rating when it comes to immigration has fallen below 50%. And that comes amid a slew of high-profile controversies, actions that the Trump administration has taken that people tell us in polls they're not that comfortable with. Things like revoking visas from students who participated in protests or sending unauthorized migrants to a prison in El Salvador. Those are the kinds of things that may be leading to this slide in what was originally one of his strongest issues.
Nancy, if we think back to Mr. Trump's first term or even Presidents Biden and Obama, is there typically a dip between a public approval rating when they come into office and there's that euphoria from people who have voted for them and 100 days in? Is that something we should expect? Or for this president, is that dip slightly more steep?
Well, almost always, and I apologize for the cleaning crew behind me, almost always when someone gets into office here at the White House and they actually start making decisions that people either like or don't like, you'll tend to see their overall approval rating go down. But President Trump has seen a slide that is greater than virtually any other president in modern history. He started out at 53%. He's down now to 45%. And in some polls, it's as low as 39%. And that is a lower approval rating than he had during his first term and has led a lot of his top aides to argue that these polls, the very same polls that showed him with a relatively high approval rating coming in, are all fake news.
And Nancy, how are Americans reacting specifically to how the president is handling the economy? During the election, they were giving Mr. Trump higher marks than Biden and hopeful that he could turn things around. Where does that stand now?
Right. Well, there's been a slide in approval for his handling of the economy as well. A majority of Americans saying that they feel like he is focusing too heavily on tariffs and not enough on bringing prices down. That is, inflation has always been a top concern for Americans. He campaigned on the fact that he was going to be uniquely qualified to bring prices down. And there you see his approval on his handling of inflation has also dipped from 46% back in March, just a month ago, to 38% now. And we have a lot of economic experts telling us that the pain that Americans could feel from these tariffs, particularly the tariffs on China, Errol, are still about 6 weeks away as container ships that would have come here to the U.S. filled with goods from China are no longer booked to travel. And so, one would anticipate that if people start to see that store shelves are empty or that prices are going up, that those approval ratings could fall even further.
Yeah, surely leading to some alarm bells in the administration. Nancy Cordes with all the latest from a busy White House North Lawn this morning. Nancy, thank you very much.